Hello YouTube, my name is Flightsimguy, and since I finally figured out how to program the flight management computer in the Boeing 757, I figured I'd go ahead and make a video sharing what I've learned. I know there are a couple of videos out there, but I didn't really like them, so I figured I'd just do one myself. I apologize for the sound of my voice. I'm recovering from a minor cold. Um, this is the Captainsim 757 Model 200. What I'm going to do is run through how you set up the CDU or the flight management computer. We're going to go ahead and program a route. Then I'll also show you how to modify the route with SID stars, adding and removing waypoints and whatnot. We are in Tallahassee, Florida, and the flight plan was generated in SimBrief going from Tallahassee to Port Columbus. I've already ran the flight plan. Let me show you what it looks like. Here it is over here. Using this information, we're going to go ahead and build out the flight management computer in Captainsim's 757. Now, there's several ways we can do this. This is actually Steam. I don't have an EasyDock cameras mapped to the CDU. The easiest way to get to it would be Shift 2 and then open this up. But before we can do that, let's go ahead and get some juice to the aircraft. So let's fire up the overhead panel. Let's turn on the battery and get the APU started. Now, before I loaded the plane, I had to go ahead and load it with the number of passengers and the number of cargo, because that's going to be factored into the billing out of the flight plan and the CDU and whatnot. So I already have fuel loaded. Here it shows kilograms. It was actually computed in pounds, but it is accurate. I have confirmed. And I have passengers and cargo also loaded. Alright, so we have juice going to the aircraft. Let's get rid of the overhead panel. Everything looks good right here. Now, as you can see, this is errored out. And as with the Cessna Citation X, it's going to stay this way until you tell the aircraft where it is. So what we need to do next is go back to the overhead panel, not the overhead panel, go to the CDU. What we need to do now, and if you've looked at my videos with the Cessna Citation X and the ERJ series, those flight management computers are a little bit less complicated, less sophisticated than this. It's the same principle, but the navigation is totally different. That's why it took me a while to figure it out. So the first thing we need to do is tell the aircraft where we are. So you go to position in it, or you can click on index position. Okay, we are at KTLH, Tallahassee. At this point, it's good enough. You can just copy these coordinates down into here, and then you can start the INS gyro alignment. But in this case, we also have a gate. So hit G4 for gate, and that gives a more specific figure. So what you do is copy this down to here and then copy it into there. Then go to route, and at this point you can go back to your INS, which is right here, or another way is to just look at the overhead panel. Then what you want to do is you want to start the alignment process. You have to do this, otherwise your flight control screens will stay in this errored out mode. And in a while, this align light goes off, then you can go ahead and move it to nav. Now, while it's aligning, here's where we go in and set up the computer. Destination clear. No, it's a little bit foggy from all the cold medicine I've been taking. Origin KTLH. Destination, we're going to Columbus. KCMH. Flight number, this is optional. I always use the same flight number that I use when I build out my flight plan in SimBrief. Foxtrot Sierra Golf 1969. You can put pretty much whatever you want. And next, we need to go into the route and enter your the actual waypoints. Now, This flight management computer allows you to enter two routes. We're on route 1. If you wanted to go to route 2, you just click here. At any one time, only one route is going to be active, but you can have two routes programmed. Oh, next page. To get to the page to enter the waypoints, you click Next. And at this point, we are going to start entering our waypoints. First waypoint is Seminole. And I'm not going to bore you with all of this. Just know that we enter all the waypoints here. So with the magic of editing, we'll be done in 2 seconds. Now, I know some of you advanced simmers. I'll take a moment to talk about this. I'm entering direct waypoints here. But if you look at the flight plan, this right here, V97, that's a Victor Airway. I could have, if I wanted to, gone over here and at the very beginning enter V97 over here, and what that would have done was it would have inserted all of these waypoints for me. It just automatically fill them out. It's a Victor Airway, Jetway, or whatever. Could have done that, but for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to keep things simple, and that means entering all the waypoints one by one. Now, once you've entered the last waypoint, you need to close the flight plan by entering your destination again. In this case, KCMH. Hit Activate and hit Execute. So we've loaded the flight plan in Route 1. Now we need to initialize all the performance specs. Click on Performance Init. Don't be overwhelmed by all the information you see on this page. Gross weight, zero fuel weight, you only need to enter one of them. You can do the math yourself. It's a long story. Actually, it's pretty simple. Just know that the zero fuel weight was already computed for you on the flight plan. Zero fuel weight 172. So all you got to do is come over here and enter 172.000, and that goes there, and it automatically computes the gross weight for you. Reserves, looking at the plan again, and you can do this however you want. Reserves is 3,000 pounds or 3,200 pounds. Just enter 3. That's all I need. 3. By default, it's thousands of pounds. So just enter 3, and there you go. And all that is going to do is once you're within your reserves or you start getting close to there, the plane's going to start complaining. Cruising altitude, in this case, according to the flight plan, we are cruising at, what you do is you go to the middle of the plan and find the flight level. It says here 37, flight level 370, right here. That's fine. Cost index. What this figure means is, the airliners, the company that operates their routes, they determine what the cost index is, and that determines how fast the fuel is burnt. From a simming perspective, don't worry about it. Just use any old number between 1 and 100. Just, I don't know, use 85. It's not important. If you fly for a virtual airline, they'll tell you what the cost index is. Center of gravity, leave that the way it is. Okay? Next, click takeoff. You're going to take off normally with 2 notches of flaps, which is flaps 15 for the 757, and it computes the V-speeds for you. You want to write these down because that's what you need to track when you're rolling to take off. So it's 131 V1, 134 VR, and 138 V2. Now here you enter the field temperature. I'm not sure what the temperature is in Tallahassee right now. I'm just going to go ahead and guess 28 degrees Celsius. But you'd get that from your weather report. And center of gravity, 27 or whatever it was on the previous page. And that will give you your trim. In this case, it's plus 3.74 degrees. And what that means is when you set your trim for takeoff, you make sure this number is down here. Okay? Alright, so We punched in stuff into the flight management computer. What do you do next? Next, you go ahead and finish up your gyros. You can either come up here, or an easier way is just go to IRS right here, click right here, using a left click, that move it to nav. The usability on how these knobs work with the mouse clicks, it's not like any other plane. It's going to take you a while to get used to it. So now the gyros are aligned. If we look at our screens, that's how they're supposed to look. So we programmed the flight management computer. What we need to do now is to confirm that the route that we punched in makes sense. So what you got to do is this button right here, that's this, okay? This is this. You want this to be on plan like so. Okay, you with me? And then you want the map to be at about 20 miles. Right about there. Let's go ahead and pull up our CDU again. Okay, and here's the part that is not intuitive. It, takes a while to figure out. To confirm your route, to make sure that your route actually makes sense, let's go ahead and pull this up so that you can see. What you need to do is go to the legs page. And these are all the waypoints that you've entered. And what you do is you click on step, and as you can see, it steps through all the waypoints till you get to your destination. Okay? Click step again. Here's Tallahassee. These are all your waypoints. Now, if you click on route, okay, and hit next page, you see the same thing. And initially I thought, hey, I can modify my route here. No, you can't. If you want to modify your route, you got to go to the legs page. All right, let's go ahead and remove a waypoint and then insert a waypoint. In this case, let's pretend we're going to remove doggy, D-O-G-G-I. To remove a waypoint, what you do is you click delete, and then you delete the waypoint. But then it brings up a route discontinuity. With the Citation X or the ERJs, normally to delete a discontinuity, you hit delete and then hit this. That doesn't work here. To remove a discontinuity in the 757, what you do is you find the following waypoint after the discontinuity and enter that into the empty boxes before. What that means is Elmo, click on Elmo and then click here, and there goes the discontinuity, and we just removed it. Now by making a change to the flight plan, your route becomes dotted. Once you're done, you gotta hit X, EXE, execute, and that changes it. So now we essentially removed the doggy waypoint. Let's say we want to input or enter or insert a waypoint. In this case, we're going to put back in what we deleted. We're going to put doggy in between Lebby and Elmo. So doggy is going to go between these two. What you do is you enter the waypoint, D-O-G-G-I, and you insert it where you want it to go. And there it is right there. We just inserted doggy. But as you can see, it put in another discontinuity. Okay? So what you got to do is put Elmo there, and that removes discontinuity. And then to accept the changes, hit execute. Alright. Now, Tallahassee is a small airport. It doesn't have any SID charts, I don't think. And SkyVector is still down. I wanted to show you how to put in star charts and SIDs and whatnot, but the SkyVector is still down. I can still show you how to do that, but it's not going to make any sense. Normally, you enter SIDs and stars based on where you're coming from or where you're going to. So in this case, I'm coming from the south. I'm not sure what SID you use when you're coming from the south going into the Columbus area, but I'll go ahead and make an attempt anyway to show you how it's done. Alright, so let's go ahead and preview our route again to make sure we are good, and we are indeed good. Okay? Let's say you wanted to add a star chart going into Columbus. What you got to do is you click on dep dip R, that's departure on arrival. These are the departures. There are no departures for Tallahassee. It's a small airport. So you click on index, and what you want is arrival for Columbus. Now there are two star charts here, and like I said, this may not make any sense. Bear with me. All right, let's go ahead and use gun 1. And the transition, oh wow, this is going to take us way out of, let me see here. Do we even want to do this? This is going to take us way out. We may not want to do it. Erase. Let's not, let's try Bremen. These transitions are nowhere nearby. Let's try this as a transition point, and we want to come in at 28 left. Execute. That activates it. Okay, now to confirm what we just did, you click on legs, and let's look at this ugly bastard. Next. Okay, there's a big old gap in our plan. Alright, so to fix that, there's a big route discontinuity here, and remember to get rid of route discontinuity. There. Execute. Alright, let's go ahead and check this again. Step. And this is why I said it doesn't make any sense. We can, let's go ahead and reduce the size of the map a little bit and see what it looks like. Alright, so here's Yellowbud. Here's the airport. The next step takes us, essentially we're flying right over Columbus. Then we're going to go out to MGW. That is a waypoint that's just sitting out there. So let's go ahead and delete. And then we can remove this discontinuity, like so. Step. And the route ends here at Bremen. See, right here. Previous. Let's go back. So as you can see, entering that SID and that star didn't make any sense. Now, as you can see, I totally screwed up the flight plan by doing this. Okay? I can still fix this. All I need to do is erase, or in this case, let's see here. Port Columbus is here. What we need to do is put Port Columbus at the bottom down there. So we can still fix this. Previous page, here's Yellowbud, there's Port Columbus, and these are the other waypoints for the star. So let's get rid of Port Columbus. Okay, and then put HISM there. Let's go back. Hit execute. And as you can see, by screwing up the plan and fixing it, I'm automatically learning how to program the flight management computer. Okay, there we go. Alright, this is the final waypoint. This is the runway right here. Let's go back to departure arrival, index, arrival, 28 left is active, Bremen 3 is a star. Let's go back to our legs. Step. This waypoint is sitting out there by itself. Let's go ahead and delete that. Get rid of that. Execute. And what this is going to do, it's going to leave us right here. Now I know they have waypoints leading into the runway. Skyvector.com is still down. Just when I needed it. Let's go back to the route. I don't need to initialize again. This is all good. I don't need to screw with that. Takeoff, this is all good. I don't need to screw with that. Let's go back to the route. Departure arrival, index, arrival. Let's change it to 10 left. Transition, CHC, execute. Let's go back to legs. Step, 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 step. Alright, there's a discontinuity here. Step, 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 step. And here's 10 left right here. So there's a discontinuity. Let's go ahead and remove that. Execute. Step, 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 step. MGW sitting out there by itself. Let's delete that. Okay, execute. And let's go ahead and zoom out. There. Normally you'd have your approach chart, but at this point you can go ahead and punch in the waypoints. That would take you straight down to the runway. Step, step, step. And essentially that's how you set up your flight management computer. Alright, let's go back to route. Throughout all of this, if you wanted to change any of this, just go ahead and hit execute. Otherwise, all this is pretty good. And from here, here are your approach speeds. I guess these change as you burn off fuel. Index. And there are some other pages. Here you can check your progress and whatnot. These work pretty much the same as other flight management computers. So, anyhow, the point is get yourself a plan. Sit down here for about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, and just keep experimenting. And before you know it, you'll become a wizard with this thing. For the most part, that's it. I'm not going to fly this right now. Once you've taken off to get it to engage, once you're in flight, all you need to do is, once you turn on the autopilot, you use your heading bug to get you onto the plan. And in this case, what you do is you set this knob to map, set the range to whatever you want, and then you're just going to fly your aircraft until your plane is on this blue line, and then engage lateral navigation. You can engage vertical navigation, but the vertical navigation takes into consideration all the speeds that you have entered on this side. And what you'd want to do is make sure that the your auto throttle is engaged and tied into the flight management computer, so that the autopilot will get its speed commands from the flight management computer. I don't like to do that. It makes things more difficult than it needs to be. So quite often, using the vertical speed, I'll fly the vertical profile myself. Anyway, as I said, once you get your little plane on the solid blue line, turn on lateral navigation. Once your autopilot is on, and then the plane will fly the route itself. Alright, that's enough for me. Hope you found this video useful. Flightsimguy here. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.